Welcome back, everybody, to episode 31 of the Jader and Kyle show. A little bit of a different episode today, guys. We're used to having Jader here. Jader's not here today, obviously. It's going to be a little different this time. Jader, I talked to him before this. We've been trying to plan out for a couple weeks. Jader, unfortunately, has come down with COVID, and it's been a difficult couple weeks. It hasn't been very good lately for him. Him and his girlfriend both have it, so please have him in your thoughts. Think about him. Let him know you love him. Send out tweets, messages, whatever it may be. But we decided that the show can't go on by itself. So we're going to do this today, guys. We're going to put out an episode. We're going to have some fun today like we haven't had in a little bit. I know it's been a couple weeks, but we've been off, but we're happy to be back. So, guys, we're going in for another episode. Jader and Kyle show is back. It's Christmas time. Lots been going on around the holidays this year, and we're just excited to finally get a couple more episodes out before the end of the year. So we're going to go out with a great couple of series of episodes coming up. Get ready for some Christmas episodes. But today we have a very special guest. It's another person that I've been accustomed to be working with. He sells phones just like Jader and I, and so he's been very busy these past couple weeks as well, but we're going to get him involved. He's going to introduce himself to you guys. Here he is, the one and only Matthew Compana. Matt, what's up, man? Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Kyle. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Matt, it's great to have you here, man. Thank you so much for coming on. I know it's been a couple weeks in the making, but I'm glad we finally made time to make this work.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative. I'm so excited for this opportunity. I'm excited to have some fun, talk about a good movie that I love, and just hang out with y'all tonight.
So, Matt, I want you to do something for me. Introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you?
Well, I have let me stop. I'm just kidding. My name is, what should I tell them? Should I
tell them about you? What's your journey been like, Matt? What do you want to be known for the most?
I think, me, I'm a single father. I'm 27. I've been in Florida for about 15, 16 years, and I'm just about working hard and growing and having fun. I always live by that motto, live, love, laugh. It's what I do. I like to have fun. Me and my kids, we're crazy. So we go through life together, and really just about working hard, having fun, having family, friends, and a lot of love. Love hard and have fun. Don't be too hard on yourself.
So where are you from, Matt? You said you've been in Florida for 16, 17 years. Where'd you come from?
I was born in New York. Shout out to Brooklyn, but I was there till I was about like 10 years old. I always forget the exact age I moved down here, but it was in 4th grade.
Okay.
So I was like 8 to 10. I came down here. I lived in Port St. Lucie for about like 11 years and then moved to Vero Beach. And I've been in Vero Beach now for about 4 years. But I still got my New York blood.
For 4 years. Okay. Yeah, cut out for a second. So we're back.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you've been in Florida for a couple of years. No, you're good, man. We recently just met only a couple months ago. For like I said earlier, Matt and I, we both sell phones. So it's been fun getting to know him. We've gotten pretty close over these past couple of months. So I'm glad you're here, man. But also, you have a podcast of your own. So please tell everybody about that.
That is right. I'm part of Rain Podcast, brought to you by Rain International. What it is we kind of just get together and bring on young entrepreneurs who are trying to promote their business as well as grow just individually and have fun. It's really like a foundation of people of all different cultures and races, and we come together kind of like family and just have fun, but as well as just trying to bring stuff to the local communities, that's really what it's about.
So, give us an example. Like, what kind of what are you promoting when you do this podcast? Like, what kind of people have you had on?
Yeah. So for instance, like on our last episode, go check it out, guys. Rain Podcast, our YouTube page, go click the link and subscribe. There's a plug. It ain't a plug, but it's a plug. No. But on our last episode, we rented out KK Billards in Miami. So we shot at a different location at the Billards Hall, and our guests, we had 3 guests. We had our co-host, Dr. Khadijah, where she promotes her business that she makes clothes. And then we had the owner of KK Billards, and she got on and spoke about like just being a young entrepreneur and owning a business and running it and having a team. And then we had another guest. His name was VJ, who was like into like the economy and like spoke to the world about like what we could expect 2021 in terms of the economy and where to put your money and invest. So different things like that. Those are the type of guests we have on.
All right. I mean, you've been doing it for a couple. I remember when we first met, you were talking about how you were getting this podcast off the ground, and you were working really hard to get it to keep going. You go to Miami every week, so that's a drive to make that happen. So good
yeah,
for you,
I don't necessarily go every week. Like the team that I work with, they're so amazing. Like his name is Jason, and he like, I mean, he is like the definition of a young entrepreneur who's really just like, it's so come up. Like I remember our first episode, like literally rearrange. We still do it, but rearranging the furniture, like this office space in Miami, and like having a camera crew there. So I kind of just like, I feel like sometimes I don't put in the work that they do in terms of like, you know, they're like hustling every day. You know, I kind of do the podcast and interview the guests and be the co-host for the podcast. But yeah, no, it's great. It's a fun experience.
So are you new to the interviewing game?
Am in that field, yes. I was a recruiter for about 3 years. Okay. So 3 to 4 years. So I mean, I'm used to interviewing people, but of course, like it's different when you're sitting in an interview with an employee, as opposed to sitting on a camera interviewing someone, having hundreds of people viewing your videos and watching you. So it's a little bit different, but I like interviewing.
So I've had to learn the same thing over these past couple years. When I started working for this website right here, we would have to go to Miami and interview people who had movies coming out and television shows, whatever it may be. And I remember my first on-camera interview, they sit you down in front of this famous celebrity, and it's just like, all right, go. And it's just about having that free-flowing conversation, going back and forth, and always about listening to what your interviewee is saying. So you can always follow up, because you don't want to be that person who just like is answering or asking the questions. You want to get something out there. You want to try to grab something out of them. So I'm sure you felt the same way recently with what you've been doing.
Yeah, you just got to be able to like flow, like I remember my first video, it took about like 20 cuts for us to even get past me saying, welcome world. Like it was ridiculous, because you really don't know how hard it is until you do it. I think a lot of people be like, oh, I could do it. But it's like when you really have those cameras on you and it's like a whole room is watching and you're like, have this pressure on you, it's not as easy as it may seem.
No, the lights are scary.
How confident you are.
No, absolutely. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. As soon as you step in, if those lights hit you, everything just goes blank. So you really got to focus when it comes to that. I've had it happen. I've seen it happen a couple times to some people, and it's hard. But it's not for everybody. But this is what it's for.
The cameraman that we have, like, things shout out to him because he like is so good at editing, and like there's so many takes in between the actual finished product because of either mistakes or just laughing or like me. I laugh a lot, so sometimes I find I always laugh at the most inappropriate times. I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is, but like sometimes like I'll just start laughing and I cannot stop, and it's like so ridiculous.
So Matt, this is a movie podcast, so I want to hear what's kind of like your background with movies. What do you enjoy most about them? What kind of genres do you like? Stuff like that.
Okay, I really am a big movie person. Like, okay. I think I probably stopped though watching the movies that are past like, the 80s. Like those type of old movies I don't watch really, honestly, to be honest. But I love the classics. But growing up, I always loved horror movies. I was always big on horror. And I love spoof movies. Like I love movies that make fun of other movies. Like something about them just like usually just die laughing. But I love movies. I love movies that make you think. I love suspense thrillers. I really like all types of movies. My least favorite are comedies. I know Like I know I said I like spoofs,
Mhm.
but I would rather watch a thriller or a movie that makes you think and have to follow along as opposed to a comedy. I'll watch a comedy though, but you gotta be a good one. It gotta be funny.
It's got to grab something out of you. That's so funny because just the other day we were trying to find a movie and we landed on a comedy. Yeah. So that's funny how it came to be that way.
Yeah, I know. That's because I was like, okay, well, we were sitting there and Jacqueline's like, oh, let's watch a comedy. I'm like, okay. Cool. And I really hate watching comedies, but because I usually don't find them funny.
Mhm.
But actually, the movie we did watch the other night was a good movie, though. Even though y'all fell asleep, but whatever. We won't talk about it.
We've seen it. We've seen it. It had to happen.
It happened.
With horror movies, what are some of your favorites when it comes to those horror movies?
Oh, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, that's right. That was one of your suggestions for this show.
Literally, when I say that, like, I just remember, like, my mom taking me to the movies. And no, not the ones from the 50s or the 80s. I like the one with Jessica Biel.
Oh, okay.
That was where I got into it. But, like, I just remember going to the movie theaters with my mom and dad, and I was so scared. Literally, like, watching that movie. It was, like, the scariest movie I ever thought of my whole life.
Have you seen any of the classic horror movies? Something like The Exorcist or The Thing?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What do you think of, like, have you seen The Thing?
The Thing, no.
The Thing? Oh boy, it's the one where there's a creature that can turn into anybody that it kills. And
I've probably seen it. I've probably seen it.
Oh my gosh, man, that's something I gotta show you at some point.
No, I never seen The Thing, but I did watch like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacres and like you know, some of the original classics, but yeah. I didn't watch The Thing though.
You gotta see
The Thanks for putting me on blast. You could have told me what movie you were gonna ask me about.
That's part of it here. You're not the first person that done that.
He gonna hit me with questions and not tell me what movie he's gonna talk about.
All right, I'm gonna throw you on the spot here then. Besides the one we're talking about here today, what are some of your favorite films?
Mean Girls. No, I'm just kidding. No, I really am just kidding. But I do love that movie. But no, some of my favorite films, honestly, like I love like The Bone Collector, Don't Say a Word, Along Came a Spider. Those are the type of movies that I'm into. I also love movies that even like are a little newer. Like I love like The Da Vinci Code, movies like that. You know, just there's so many. I love a lot of them.
Okay, so if a certain actor or actress is putting out a film, you're gonna go see it no matter what. What actor or actress is that?
Certain actors. Okay, so I gotta say something off the wall.
Okay.
Because this person, she does comedy.
All right.
She's my favorite. And any movie that she's in, I will go watch. And that's Anna Faris. I'm sorry.
Anna Faris is so great. She's
the most funniest effing. Can I curse on here?
Of course.
Of course. She is literally the most effing funniest person ever. I love her so much. I wish I could just hang out with her for a day. I really do love Anna Faris. Why are you laughing at me? I got
that kind of explains your spoof movie love, because Anna Faris in those scary movie.
Oh my god, so funny! The way she just was always so winded. She's so, the microphone. I love her so much, and like literally, if she's in it, I know it's my type of comedy. Unless it's this one that, of course, the one movie that Nick showed me that Anna Faris was in, that was like, okay.
Oh, which one was it? There's one
called Smiley Face. Smiley Face?
Oh, yes. I remember Smiley.
You seen it?
Yes, I've seen Smiley Face.
Okay, that was like, okay, that was a little much, but I love her so much.
Did you see Overboard from like 2 years ago with Anna Faris? It's a movie where she works for like a really shitty boss, and he ends up getting amnesia, and so she starts acting like she's his wife. So she starts getting back at him for everything that he always.
I gotta watch that. What is it called?
Overboard.
Overboard. I gotta watch it.
Overboard. If you're an Anna Faris fan, she's just funny in everything she's in, so I completely understand that. Is there anyone else that you would list in that category of people?
Yeah, I mean, more serious actors. I love Angelina Jolie. I love Denzel. I love What's his name though? Why can't I think of his name? Is it Morgan Freeman? I love Morgan Freeman. I love him so much. I can watch any movie with him.
We actually had a Morgan Freeman episode a couple months back. Yeah, we talked about Seven with Morgan.
Oh yeah, I seen that movie.
Yeah, so
I love Morgan Freeman.
So Morgan Freeman, you said Denzel.
Seven is the one with Brad Pitt, isn't it?
Yes. Seven with Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey.
Have you ever seen the movie The Number 23 with Jim Carrey?
I have not seen that one.
No, where he's like obsessed with the number 23.
No. What is this movie?
Oh, Kyle didn't know a movie?
No, let me look this up. The number 23.
Yeah, and he's like obsessed with the number 23.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard of this before.
You gotta watch it.
Or is it like a suspense? Oh my gosh, that
it's kind of sick and twisted.
Is he like killing 23 people?
It's like a mix between like it gives you like Black Swan type of vibes.
Ooh, Black Swan's a good one.
Type of vibes, but not so like it's more like raw.
Are you a Jim Carrey fan?
I love Jim Carrey. I love The Truman Show. I'm sorry. We can watch that movie every time it's on TV.
I wish Jader was here because you and him would get along pretty well. He loves horror and he loves Jim Carrey.
I love Jim Carrey.
Two of his favorite. Liar, Liar. We did Dumb and Dumber. We did. He wants to do The Mask coming up. So there's so many.
I love The Mask. I love The Mask. And then did you know, like, it was, I was just watching earlier, actually, like they were talking about how that the makeup, how he did the Grinch, he had to wear that costume, like, basically for like 90 days in a row.
Right.
But like, it was so hard wearing that makeup in the Grinch and that costume that they bought someone from like the army to like teach him how to like be able to mentally deal with like, and like that type of feeling, like being uncomfortable like that.
Huh. I didn't hear about that. I know that makeup's kind of disturbing when you're a kid and you see that. Yeah, that
was really him. Like that was really all him underneath there, like with makeup and stuff. Like his eyes. Like imagine having those contacts. Like it's crazy. I was literally just watching it earlier today. They were talking. I forget where I was watching it, but
okay, it's always on TV now during Christmas time. I feel like it's on every day. You could find it somewhere. The Grinch is always there. I remember when they came out with the Cat in the Hat like 2 years later too, how disturbing that thing was.
I love the Cat in the Hat.
Oh my gosh, it's so weird.
It is disturbing though. It is weird. I hate stuff like that. The way like things look like that, it grosses me out.
So let's make a transition here. So when I asked you to come on the show, I told you could pick any movie you wanted to talk about, any movie in the world. And you gave me a couple options, but the one we settled on was Girl Interrupted. So Matt, I want you to tell the audience, why did you choose this movie?
Well,
take a puff.
Okay, like I have like a, I can have a deep answer and a regular answer. First of all, I love Girl Interrupted because I mean, this is the cast. I love women cast. So it's an all women cast and they're all amazing actresses. Shout out, rest in peace, Brittany Murphy. I love Brittany Murphy so much. She's always been my favorite. But I think the movie just has a lot of substance, has a lot to talk about. I think with the Girl Interrupted, you can't just only talk about one thing. I think it has so much to talk about. And then also, I just love movies that touch on mental health. Like I really do. Something about it just intrigues me. Like, when people are going through things and like something about that, like I'm always like hooked onto. So Girl Interrupted is just an amazing movie. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it, please.
It's surprising when you told me that this was the film that you really wanted to do, because just your personality on the surface, you would never think that this is the movie that you would be wanting to talk about the most. But when you get into the whole mental health aspect of it, it's really something to unpack, because there's a lot in this film that it's saying, talking about depression and trying to, handle your inner demons. And can that be fixed, or should it be fixed? Like, what do we do? I think there's a lot of questions that come up with that. So when you walk away from this film, Matt, like what do you take away from it as far as like messages?
Um, that's
So like I mean it is mostly about mental health like you were saying. So it feels like there's quite a bit of material in here that relates to stuff. This movie was in 1999, and I think one of the things that I really noticed is a lot of the themes are very consistent with what people are dealing with today. We're in a pandemic right now where people are staying at home constantly. When you stay at home, it brings up these feelings of depression and loneliness and stuff like that. And I feel like this film puts a magnifying glass on that, and it really shows how people could maybe take that too far. But I don't know, like, what are you taking away when you watch this?
I think one of the things is that it always like, it kind of, when you actually watch it and what you feel from it is that life is worth it. And no matter what you're going through, like I think Winona Ryder was a phenomenal actress throughout the movie, and the way that where you had like, she was probably the most relatable character, right? Because out of all the characters and all the girls that were there, you had some that, yes, had a lot of mental issues, some that been through drama, some that are just rebellious. Where she was a mix between someone who did have probably some tendencies of someone that maybe was living more in a riskier life, but also just a regular girl who was being molested by an older guy or was dealing with insecurities from her family or whatever the case is. So I think just reminding you that life is always worth it and that things can always get better. And your past doesn't define you. Like what defines you is what you come out of it. So that's probably for me personally, like the message that I take from it is just learning. I always reflect on anything and I always relate it to me somehow, where whether it's a music or a video or a movie or anything, everything might not relate to you, but there's some way that you can have it relate to your life and take what you need. So I think when I watch that movie, it just gets to me because, it just shows like, there are people like that 1 minute you could be borderline crazy. And then it's like, no, but you're really not. You just suppress your feelings and just things like that. So I think what I take from it is that life is worth it and your past don't define you.
One of the things that I feel like I took away from it the most, that I liked about it the most, was how they really made you question whether what Winona Ryder actually should be in the hospital, in this mental facility. Because when you were seeing it at the beginning, she chased down a bottle of vodka with a bottle of painkillers, right? And it's like, was this just a one-time thing, or is she actually suffering from stuff? Does she really need to be in this mental facility? And it keeps you guessing throughout the entire time as you start to unpack more and more things. And I really appreciate about that. Also, too, when you start to meet the cast of characters that are inside this mental facility, some of them seem normal at the beginning, and then they show why they're there in the first place. Or some of them are just crazy at the top, but then as you start to get to know them more and more, they have more of a personality, more something to them. Like one of my favorite characters in this is Polly, who the first time we see her, she's got this big smile on her face because she's trying to play instruments through a cage. But then you see she's got the burnt face, and you come to learn more and more about her, about how she got to this point. She's always a happy soul, but on this outside, she's always going to be known for that. And it's trying to learn about everybody beneath the surface. It's not just what you see on the outside. So that's something I really take away from it. As far as the like the background of this film, we always like to talk about awards on this, Oscars and stuff. This film only got one Oscar nomination in the year 1999. The year 1999 historically is one of the greatest years in movie history. You've had some of the classics that have ever came out in 1999.
But that's probably why it didn't get that much shine, because one, it was an all-woman cast. Number two, it was an all-girls cast. Number two, it had other movies it had to compete with. And it touched on mental health, which probably a lot of people weren't touching on at that time. And that's probably why it didn't get much shine maybe as it should have.
Yeah, and it's funny because in 1999, like we said, it's one of the greatest years ever. But the nominees, the 5 nominees, you look at them and you're like, why are those the movies when you consider everything else that came out this year? Like the movie that won Best Picture was American Beauty.
Oh, I love the movie.
American Beauty won that year. You had stuff like The Sixth Sense and The Matrix, American Pie, like all these movies that kind of define, that define their genres in a way. Like The Matrix changed sci-fi, and American Pie was a coming of age thing, and Sixth Sense was, like one of the biggest twists in movie history. So a lot of great things came out that year, but it did win one award. And that was Angelina Jolie for Best Supporting Actress.
Of course.
And my God, she is incredible in this film. Like Angelina Jolie really needs to. It's the only Oscar she ever won.
You stick with that photo, I jabbed it right on my fucking iota.
Yes. Oh my God. So do you even know where an iota is?
I learned from this movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of my favorite scenes in the film. This is when she's just trying to make that threat. But she's such a fascinating character. Every time she's on the screen, you're so captivated by her because even though she is a terrible human being with what she's like, what the stress she puts people through, she's still someone that you want to see what she's going to do next. You hope she can get better because she's that interesting of a person. I mean, Matt, who's your favorite character in this? Without giving away any of your awards picks that we have for the categories later, who's your favorite character? Or actually, let's put it like this. Did anyone else deserve an award for acting besides Angelina Jolie?
I personally relate to Winona Ryder in that movie, so I think the most relatable character for me would be her. Best character, I mean, I love Brittany Murphy. I love this will be a random. This will be like a little one of my cameo questions. I don't know her name. I don't know her name, her actress name, but she was the one who like suffered from anorexia or like body dysmorphia and thought she was like super fat and she was so skinny.
Oh shoot!
And she was like, she'd sit there, she smoked the cigarettes. She was the blonde girl, and she was like, they were doing the yoga, and they're like, be a tree. And like she's like throwing herself on the ground and she's like, I'm not a fucking tree, I'm a fucking shrub. And she's like on the ground and shit, but like I love her. But I don't know. There was so many, my favorite, I love Winona Ryder. I love Angelina Jolie. I love Brittany Murphy. Those are my 3 favorites of the whole movie.
So Winona Ryder, you said you relate to her character the most.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, what kind of tea we got to give the people watching?
Hey, you do whatever you feel.
I mean, to be honest, and just to be fair and raw and uncut and really give people the truth, like, I kind of been in that same situation, right? Just like you said, like when she took that bottle of vodka and those pills, was that a one-time thing? Or did she have a crazy summer? Was she really mentally messed up in the head? Like I've been there. Like I was there. Like when I was 18, I literally probably did the same thing. Where I wasn't crazy. We're all crazy. And next thing you know, you ended up in a behavioral institution and you're like, shit, am I meant to be here? Like, is this what I should be doing? Or did that just happen? Or like, how do I get out of this? So being 18 years old in a behavioral institution and literally getting out there for 3 days and then getting out and then starting senior year high school 3 days later and still trying to be normal and deal with society and the world and everything, but also not trying to fight what things you're going through. Like that's what I've been through. I literally been through that. So it's crazy. So she's definitely the most relatable to me because, I like a lot of things that she was, I was, like when I was younger, I was promiscuous. When I was rebellious, when, there's people, just really, and that's me being honest. Like I'm saying a whole lot right now. I'm being really honest because I think it's fair for people to know the truth. And it's like people go through that kind of stuff.
Yeah. People
at a young age and don't know how to come out from it.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about movies is being able to find someone that you can relate to, find a character that you can attach yourself to and say, that's me on the screen. And saying, am I going to put myself, are they going to go through the same thing I did, or what are they going to do differently? It's part of the fun of watching movies, is that there's always something different every time you watch it. And that's great that you're able to find someone in this film that you personally relate to. So Matt, thank you for sharing that stuff, because I know, I know it can be a little difficult.
Easy, but I'm an open book. I've always been kind of like an open book, obviously not putting my business out there, but I think just it is important for people to share their story and never feel ashamed of anything you've been through, just like come out strong from it.
And I think that's one of the important messages of this film is when it always comes to these mental health films, it's talking about, are you sick in the head, or are you just being yourself? And that's one of the things that these movies.
Are you just going through something? Are you going through something? Do you need help? Are there things in your past that you can't get out from? Are there things that people have done to you that you mentally can't get over? Or are you just having a crazy summer?
Exactly. You're just being yourself. None of us are perfect. We're all going through stuff at some point in our lives. And it's about finding that balance and finding that happiness that we're all trying to, we seek every single day. So it's funny. It's fun that we got to this point in this conversation, Matt. Let's get to the categories here then. Let's lighten it up a little bit. We're going to start here with what we always do, is best scene. There are so many great scenes in this film. So, Matt, I want to hear, what was your choice for best scene?
My best scene. The one that I chose for best scene, I'm a very deep person.
Okay.
But I think the best scene was the whole, when they arrived at Brittany Murphy's house after she was released, and then Brittany Murphy wound up, hanging herself in the bathroom. That was probably the best scene.
So I want to ask you about that.
That sounds so bad.
No.
Well, it was super emotional and sad. They were so mean, and I literally could cry at watching parts like that. And they were literally so mean to her, and she's literally giving them money to go make pancakes in the morning. And next thing you know, she's upstairs. She's dead. Just hung herself. Straight up hung herself.
So I want to ask you this: did you see that coming?
Yeah.
Could you see it coming?
See it coming as soon as she's walking upstairs sad like that.
Yeah, when she says, don't worry about me in the morning, I'll come down when I'm ready. That's when I was like, oh boy, this is it. She's not coming back down at all. And that was, I remember when I was watching it for the first time, you didn't want it to happen, but you knew it was coming.
In the morning, when Angelina Jolie sitting there at the table, she'd been fucking playing that music all goddamn morning. You just knew she was dead.
Yeah, it's a powerful scene when that happens, and really sad when you
when she's talking to her, and she's like, "You got some chickens? Yeah, your daddy." It's fuck a chicken, and she was going in on her. She was talking.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
But no, I did like one of those scenes. But I did like another scene. I liked when Winona was in the bathtub with Whoopi. I love when they I like when she was making love with the guy in the when he came and visited her, and then he brought her to the room. Just so many different scenes till it I think the scene that I've quoted the most ever was the I stab you and stab myself in my iota scene. I probably repeated that 80 times throughout life.
That's gonna be our next category in a sec. My choice for best scene was I kind of went with a happier one, and it's the scene where they sing to Polly through the door after she gets locked up. When she grabs the guitar and say, we're going to make her happy. And they just start singing in the hallway. I forget what the song was, but they start singing in the hallway. And then the guy comes running over.
Was it Boardwalk?
I think that's what it is. I don't know what the name of the song is off the top of my head. But then the guy comes over who kind of has a crush on Winona Ryder. And instead of him breaking it up, he joins in and sits down. And I just it's that feel-good moment where it's just let's not follow the rules here. It's okay to break a couple of them to make someone happy who's clearly going through something very distressful. So that's one of the scenes that just makes me smile when I watch this film. And that's my choice for best scene.
Yeah, that is sweet. I'm glad you went with the happier one, and I'm talking about when she killed herself.
It's a good balance.
Good balance.
All right, we go to next category, which is best line. I'll start here because I'm sure you got quite a few of them that you want to go through. So I'm going to go with something that Lisa says towards the end. And it's when she says, "I'm playing the villain, baby, just like you want. I try to give you everything you want." That kind of encapsulates Angelina Jolie's character throughout the entire thing. How she knows what she's doing throughout this entire process. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to break your heart. I'm here to show you why you're actually in this mental facility. And it's a scary line because when she says that, it's just so dark. You're like, oh my gosh, like she's completely psycho. She's the one who actually needs to be in here. Meanwhile, all these other women actually have something they're fighting through and they're trying to get better. Angelina Jolie's not trying to get better. She's trying to make everyone else worse. And that's the line that really makes it happen. So that was one of the lines I took away from it. What do you got, Matt?
Wow. How am I supposed to answer after that answer?
What
You're
do you
supposed to
got?
let the horrible answer person go first, so that way I can't have to follow up with that amazing answer.
Well, that's part of the fun of this is we don't know what our answers are going into.
I was gonna say the aorta scene.
I know that's your favorite. I remember you quoted quite a few when we were working the other day. Do you have any other ones that you like?
I guess I can talk about the scene where her and Whoopi Goldberg in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And where she, Whoopi Goldberg checked her and she was in the bathtub and she was just like, oh, making fun of Whoopi for the color of her skin. And then, Whoopi kind of checked her and was like, you were just a spoiled little girl who da-da-da-da-da. I don't even remember all the words, but I think that'll be probably a scene that I could quote, like a line from the movie.
I love how
that was horrible. I'm sorry, I can't even remember.
I love how Winona kind of just she really hits Whoopi in the spots that it hurts, and Whoopi doesn't even phase her. She just kind of leans over, says one thing that kind of just shuts her down. Like I've seen it all before. I've heard it all before. You're just another one of the people that come in and out of here, but you also have something special to you, and you don't want to waste that. I really enjoy that moment as well. Yeah. Casting what ifs. This is some of the research that I did. A lot of people auditioned for this movie when it was coming out. So here's a couple of the names that didn't get any roles: Reese Witherspoon, Rose McGowan, Kate Hudson, Christina Ricci, Katie Holmes, Gretchen Wool, and Alicia Witt and Alanis Morissette all auditioned for unspecified roles.
Alanis Morissette did?
Yeah.
Christina Ricci, that's the girl from Casper, right?
Yes.
I love her.
And then, obviously Reese Witherspoon and Katie Holmes.
I love Reese Witherspoon, but she wouldn't have fit in it.
No, I don't think any of these women would have worked as well as what we had in the actual cast. But it is always cool to go back and see, oh, what if this person was supposed to be in this film? Oh, what if this person got this part? It completely changes it sometimes. So that was what I found. Next category, the Mahershala Ali Award for Best Sharpshooter, the character who does the most in the least amount of time. Obviously, honoring Mahershala Ali for his role in Moonlight. Matt, who was your pick for this?
I picked Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy. Okay, why?
Was that a bad answer?
No, not at all. I want to hear why.
Well, because I feel like she had the most impact because she kind of stirred the, it was where they kind of was also part of the climax when they escaped and, and went to her house and then she wound up killing herself. And then Winona Ryder wound up realizing that this isn't the life she wants and kind of was I would have to say the climax of the movie where that happened and then it was bam, towards the end.
Yeah.
And Brittany Murphy, if you really think about it, wasn't really in a lot of scenes. You know what I mean? She was in there to show the realness of the mental facility when her and Lisa were going in there for pills, switching pills. And then also in there towards the end when they escaped and had a place to go to and kind of wasn't in the movie a lot. If you really watch back, she's not in the movie a lot at all. She didn't. I don't even think she went with the girls like downstairs to the basement to like see their files. I don't even think she was with them.
No.
She was there really in her room, and she only made a couple of appearances, but she really had a big impact on the movie, I think.
She really is the true answer for this category, because her impact is felt throughout the entire thing, especially after her final scene. You feel the consequences of the actions of Angelina Jolie's character. So she really is the answer. I went with someone else just to shake it up a little bit. I went with Whoopi Goldberg.
I was gonna pick her, but that felt too easy because she's in the movie a lot.
She is in a little bit, quite a bit, but I think my choice with Whoopi is because she's like the one good presence throughout the entire thing. Like she's the one that's always going to balance the film out. Whenever things start getting crazy, she comes in and calms everything down and is that kind of that guiding light that the film needs in order to really balance itself. Every time she speaks, she has something great to say. She puts people in her place when they need to. I just really enjoy what she brought to the table here.
Well,
So
that's funny though, because actually Whoopi's was actually my next answer for the best cameo.
All right, so let's go there. Best cameo then. So it's your choice for Whoopi.
I picked Whoopi.
So why'd you pick Whoopi then?
Because exactly what you said. Like that's why I picked her for the cameo, because I felt like Whoopi was on a lot. Whoopi was there when they went to the restaurant. Whoopi was there in the bathtub. Whoopi was there in the beginning. Whoopi was there to manage all the girls the whole time. So I didn't feel like she did the most in the least amount of time. I feel like she was just, like you said, the light, the positivity there. The reason I helped Winona be down to earth and become back to normal, and you can tell held all the girls together. So I thought she was the best cameo.
So my cameo, I took in a different direction with a character that's just in one scene and that's it. And it's just because it's one of those things where I was like, oh, I know that guy. And it's
was it the guy that came in and had sex with her in the hospital?
No.
Pick him?
No, not him. I went with Kurtwood Smith, who's literally the very first person you see in this film, who's the one who's interviewing Winona Ryder and finding out why, trying to say why she should go there.
Good one. That was good. That's a good one.
Yeah, Kurtwood Smith. I'm a big RoboCop fan, and Kurtwood Smith is obviously well known for this.
He was a therapist.
Yes, he's the therapist, and he's just in it for one scene. But I was like, hey, I know that guy, so he was my choice because he's always fun to see whenever I see him in a movie. All right. Another fun award coming up here, the Gary Oldman Everyone Award for Best Overacting. So someone in this film who is a little bit over the top in this. So it's we always like to say that this is 80% compliment, 20% insult for this award. So who did you go with for this, Matt? Yeah, is there anyone or any moment that you're like, oh man, they were way over the top?
It's funny because I'm now, like, for some reason, as you're reading out the question, my answer doesn't fit what I want, like what I thought at that time. I actually put Winona Ryder, but I was looking at the question at first, like, I don't know. I forget. I'm trying to think why I wrote Winona.
It's so funny because you're doing the same thing that Jackie did when she was on the show, which is pick the main character and say that they're the ones who overdid it, which never really happens, which is funny because usually the main character is the one who's balancing it out. But she gave a great answer as to why, but why do you feel Winona Ryder is the one who's overacting?
Yeah, no, I don't, but that's the thing. Now, as I sit back and reflect, I feel like maybe that wasn't the best answer because the overreacting probably was. I don't know. That's a hard one. That really is a hard one. Overreacting. I mean, the girl that was like crying about her weight was a little much. Overacting.
I have two kind of. First, I went with Clea Duvall, who it's for the one scene where she's like, my father works for the CIA and can have you dead in the next minute if I want to. Like, okay, she just came up with that on the spot and it doesn't work at all. I didn't like that moment.
That's the girl who makes up lies, right?
She just makes up lies. I remember I was wondering, like, why is she in this thing in the mental hospital for the longest time? And then when she finally blows up, you're like, oh, that's why. And I think she does it a little bit too much. Just a little over the
I'm
top.
glad you have the perfect answers. You should have shared these answers with me before the show.
Well, next time, Matt. I also went with so the guy who hooks up with Winona Ryder at the hospital is Jared Leto. I want to ask you this question: does he look like Zac Efron in this movie?
Can I pull it up as I talk to you?
Yeah. So search up Jared Leto in Girl Interrupted.
What's his name?
Jared Leto. He's the lead singer for 30 Seconds to Mars. He won an Oscar, obviously.
I want to say yeah, but I'm like, I have to just look at his face again.
Yeah.
Oh, 100% Zac Efron.
Doesn't he look like Zac Efron?
Yes.
I saw that. I'm like, Zac Efron's in this? And I'm like, oh, wait, no. That's way
oh,
too
my
late.
God.
So he was Zac Efron before Zac Efron. Because this movie came out before High School Musical.
That is crazy.
Jared Leto has popped up in so many of the movies we've done on this show. He just, for some reason, he's always there.
He's looking like a. Let me stop. No, but that's crazy. He looks just like Zac Efron.
That's what I thought. Then you realize that there's no way it could be Zac Efron. It looks just like him, though.
That's crazy.
All right, next category here. What doesn't work? So, Matt, is there anything in this film that doesn't hold up? When you watch it through 2020 eyes, is there anything that you're like, oh, that doesn't work as well?
That actually was the one question that I didn't want to write an answer to. I wanted to like answer it naturally and really think about it raw, like uncut.
Okay.
What doesn't work is you answer first. You tell me.
Okay. Well, I mean, through 2020 eyes, the security system at the mental facility just doesn't hold up at all. For those girls to be able to sneak and go to the basement and play around and go bowling when no one ever catch them, that doesn't hold up today.
How was there a bowling alley underneath?
Yeah, where'd they find a bowling alley? How was that even established in the first place? I think that's something that you watch it today and you're like, I don't think that would work anymore. But obviously, whenever we do an older movie, cell phones would solve a lot of things. Whenever you see it through today's eyes, if someone had a cell phone, this easily would have been solved. Like if you watch the movie Scream, Scream would be solved if someone had cell phones immediately.
Like the way they did have a lot of freedom in that hospital.
They did, right? They felt like they were able to run. Like Angelina Jolie, when she snuck into Winona Ryder's room, is like, we're getting out of here tonight. I want to know how she got in there in the first place without anybody noticing. Like, this is the woman who's escaped like 3 times. How come no one's keeping an eye on her?
Yeah. That's funny.
All right. Some interesting details that I found out about the movie. I don't know how you're going to take any of these, Matt, but first I saw so Winona Ryder was very influential in getting this movie made. So she acquired the rights to the book and spent 7 years trying to get it made. That's one of the first things I found. So Winona Ryder was very passionate about getting this thing done. Angelina Jolie avoided any interaction with Winona Ryder during the film because she thought if she saw any kind of humanity in her, she wouldn't be able to be a sociopath toward her. So she wanted to know the least amount of Winona Ryder so she could be as big of a crazy person as she could possibly be without feeling bad about it. Kind of shows you the lengths that actors will go to play their characters right there. Something else you might like, Matt? The original cut of this film was 3 hours long. So there's a 3-hour version of this film sitting out there somewhere, but it's never been released. So there's more content out there.
I want to see
it. And then finally, the hospital they filmed in was actually a hospital used to treat mental patients, but it closed in 2006. So they actually filmed it at a mental facility, and then it came together the way we saw it. So that was a couple of details I found. Any of those stand out to you, Matt?
Yeah, I love that. I love the one about Angelina Jolie because it just goes to show like she's an amazing actress, and that's why
very committed.
Actors actually commit to their roles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine when a writer like sets up this whole thing? Because, like I said, she was very like influential in getting this made, and then Jolie's not even talking to her when the cameras aren't rolling, just walking right away from her.
It's crazy.
All right, Apex Melon, our second to last category, Apex Melon. So this is the point in someone's career when they're at their peak, where it never gets better for them, but at this point, they're basically able to do whatever they want, or it never got better for them after this for their career. So, to be honest, this is one of the first films that I don't think I can think of anybody. I don't know if this was the apex of anyone's career. If you look at Winona Ryder,
see, that's why I picked.
That's what you picked.
All okay. I could think of was Winona Ryder, because only reason why, for me personally, I haven't seen a lot of content that Winona Ryder has done. I really know Winona Ryder for being the one that's got caught shoplifting on Saks Fifth Avenue. So, like, literally how I know her, Winona Ryder, and there's a joke in White Chicks, but I never really knew any movies with Winona Ryder. And then, except for Interrupted, from my eyes, I picked Winona Ryder for that reason. Obviously, someone like you who probably has seen a bunch of movies she was in, probably knowledge on that. I picked her for that reason.
I think she actually does qualify for this, and here's why. So, what is she known for most? I think it's this. It's Shoplifters, but yes. I also think though, like she's been nominated for 2 Oscars in her life. One of them was for Little Women, which Little Women is been made 4 times.
God, I remember Little Women. I used to have that. My mom used to have that on tape.
Little Women's fantastic. The most recent one that came out last year is incredible.
Before that, Girl Interrupted, right?
Yes, Little Women was 1994. And Girl Interrupted was 1999. So that one was significant at the time. And then she did Heathers after that, which Heathers is also a very well-known movie. But then this is the film that really she was a driving force behind and got it made and was successful. So that's why I think this might be the apex of her career, because after this, she doesn't have any big roles after, unless you consider Stranger Things a big role. But she's not the star of that. She's one of the supporting characters.
Definitely her apex moment.
Would Angelina Jolie qualify for this at all? Does it get better for her after this? She did win an Oscar.
Yes, of course. Even if you were to consider her Maleficent, even now at this point of like her life doing this movie, like, and no, Angelina, this is definitely not the movie that everyone refers Angelina to.
It's not Shark Tale.
I don't know that. What is that?
You don't know Shark Tale, where she's the voice of the fish?
Oh, I thought he said Chug Tale. I know Shark Tale. Yeah, no, but there was other movies. Like she was like, I mean, even Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Like, her legend status only got better. It didn't peak at Girl Interrupted.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because as far as acting goes, she hasn't done too many significant things since. She's been more of like a driving force behind the camera. I know she's directed a couple things at this point.
Now. But I mean, Bone Collector, was that before or after Girl Interrupted?
I believe that was before Girl Interrupted. After this, she had gone and it was actually the Bone Collector came out the same year as Girl Interrupted, both in 1999.
So which one was her apex? No. But she had movies. Definitely, like, she has movies after that. I mean, the Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider was a big one, but
Tomb Raider was after that.
Yeah, Tomb Raider was after that. Gone in 60 Seconds. She was she did a lot of voice work stuff, like she was in the Kung Fu Panda movies.
Let me see some Angelina Jolie movies, and I'll tell you. Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like she's not really known for Girl Interrupted. Yeah, look, Maleficent, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Girl Interrupted, Wanted. Oh, Salt was. Oh my goodness, Changeling. Changeling, 2008. I don't think that was probably like maybe her most famous movie. But I personally love that movie.
Yeah, it's To me, I think Angelina Jolie's more known for her celebrity than for her career. Maybe because Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt was always the one that people talked about. Whenever you talked about Hollywood couples, it was those two no matter what.
Maybe
So
it was her apex, actually, you know, if you really think about it.
it might be. That's why I put her down. And obviously, as you go down the line, I don't think it's anyone else's apex. Like Elizabeth Moss, who plays Polly, her career has shot off from here. This was like the beginning of her career. Clea Duvall, it got better for her after this. Jared Leto, obviously, Jeffrey Tambor, Whoopi Goldberg, all these people. Was this Brittany Murphy's though? I'm not sure.
No, Brittany Murphy did Don't Say a Word. Brittany Murphy did Uptown Girl. Brittany Murphy did
Clueless.
Clueless. She did the one with what's it, Ashton Kutcher. She did no, definitely not. I wouldn't say Brittany Murphy's peak. If Brittany Murphy didn't die, then she would have even been done more.
Probably, yeah. So I'd say Ryder and Jolie both do qualify for this. So
let's give it up for them, y'all.
Interesting turn of events there. All right, Matt. Final question, final category.
This is the apex of my career, being on this show.
I hope not.
Yeah, right.
All right, Matt. Who won the movie?
Who won the movie?
Yeah.
The award goes to. Go ahead and read that one. What does that say? Who won it? Who won the movie?
Put the camera on him. Let him
know how to read. No, he doesn't even know how to read. It's Chicken's Guard. Angelina Jolie. The movie. She is the climax. She is the antagonist. She is the. She definitely had to win the movie. Who else would have won?
To me, it's definitely her too. She's the person you're thinking about when you walk out of this film. She's clearly the strongest presence in this. Like I said, you're always focusing on her every time she's on the screen, and she's scary good in this movie. Like whenever she pops up, I'm super scared of her in a way because I don't know what she's gonna do. And her driving Brittany Murphy's character to her suicide is a very scary thing, and only certain people like Angelina Jolie is a very likable person, and I hate her in this movie. So that just shows how grave an actress she is, and I think that's probably the reason why she runs away with this. To me, I mean, Winona Ryder is great as a lead, but she's also very quiet and reserved. Jolie's the one you're talking about when you're done watching this movie, so I think she's easily the winner.
Go ahead, Angelina girl. Do your thing.
Do your thing. That's going to do it, everybody, for episode 31 of the Jader and Kyle Show. Matt, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I'm glad you were here.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I had a great time talking about the movies and getting to know each other. And thank you so much, Kyle. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Not a problem, man. And also tell everybody where they can find your podcast.
Yes, please, guys, go to the YouTube, type in Rain Podcast. That's REIGN Rain Podcast. Go, please follow the link and subscribe. We're going to be dropping episode 3. If you guys have any local, have a business that you want to promote, hit us up. Maybe you guys can come on the show.
Absolutely. And guys, please go tune in. I've seen a couple episodes of Matt's podcast. It's a lot of fun. Those guys do quite a bit over there. So, go support everyone who supports us. That's what we like to do here on the Jader and Kyle Show. Everyone, please give your best wishes to Jader. He should be back next week. And we're going to, make sure, Matt, we get you on again at some point with Jader so you can meet him officially.
Yeah. Anytime.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next week on another episode of the Jader and Kyle Show.